Bakare-Yusuf, who's a seasoned broadcast journalist, founder of the Purple Women Foundation, and co-convenor of the We Are All Natasha protest movement. And she's been one of the most vocal advocates for justice in this case and a tireless campaigner for gender equity in Nigerian politics. Thank you so much indeed for joining us, and so good to have a chance to talk to you again.
Good. Is it good morning? Good morning.
It's good morning. So
How are you?
we're well, and I suppose that you should be feeling good as well, given the court judgment. But what is your reaction, especially given what the senators decided to do?
Because they intend, because I left Nigeria, 24 hours ago. But I do know that the last time they were stopping her from coming from resuming her job. Look, let's talk about the judgment. The substantive judgment, she has won. I mean, the judge did say they were excessive. That's the good thing. We knew it was against the Constitution. That's the other good thing. It's unfortunate that the judge didn't have the courage. She couldn't go far enough as to condemn that action, because it is condemnable. When you break the Constitution, when you disobey the Constitution of the land, it should be condemnable. When you disobey the laws of the Senate itself, the judge should have condemned them, but she didn't. Having said that, we did win. She did say it was excessive. But incidentally, it's so there's so many layers to this, because they've turned it so political. And by that, I mean the campaign to stop Senator Natasha from going back into a role as senator is actually now seemingly their focus. She should be able to return back. They've gotten the CTC as of the last I checked. They've gotten the CTC. All she needs to do is take the CTC back to the Senate and do whatever paperwork is required and go back to work. But they're trying to stop her from returning to work, which tells you something. Which tells you that this was never about Senator Natasha, not wanting to sit in any chair or anything. It was about actually, it was about debasing this woman and denying her right, her elected right to represent her people. So the people of Kogi State, where she represents, continue to lose, their franchise in our democracy, in the Nigerian democracy, and it's an absolute and utter disgrace. The Senate, which should care fundamentally about the people, that is their job. The Senate president, the only thing that differs him from me is that he has the Constitution on his shoulders. And he's supposed to ensure every single Nigerian citizen has representation. They get their share of the Nigerian democracy. But rather than do that, he's busy playing all these games. It's actually disgraceful. So yes, Senator Natasha has won. We did say this was illegal. You couldn't do this. There were two legal precedents that told us it was illegal, including, or that informed us that it was illegal, including the Constitution, including the Senate rule book.
Right.
And
all
now
right.
they then go on to, go ahead.
We've got quite a lot that I still want to get through, so I'm going to hurry us up a little bit. To help our viewers and listeners understand, you convened the We Are All Natasha protest. And whilst we're talking about Natasha in particular, this movement really was about the attitudes and the actions against women in general, right?
Absolutely. It was bigger than Natasha. It was bigger than, and it still is. It always will be. It's about Nigerian women in general and their representation in nation building. So, for instance, there's a new documentary called Double Minority. That documentary was made by Kadria Ahmed, a woman. Kadria is a journalist like I am. Kadria in 2023 followed 9 women, 9 female political candidates on their journey, their campaign journey. I promise you, it is one of the most shocking things you will see. The abuse, the physical violence, the mental violence. And Natasha, nobody knew this was going to happen. Senator Natasha was part of the people she followed. Literally, her and her crew just followed 9 women in their political campaigns. Death threats. It's insane. Yeah, so We Are All Natasha campaign is bigger than Senator Natasha. And even Senator Natasha will tell you that. She will tell you that it is bigger than me. This is important for all of us. And that's why I convened it.
All right. So what do you say to those that argue that Senator Akpoti should have used internal mechanisms before going to court, as the Senate insisted?
Do you know those who said that don't know that there is no mechanism for her to use. There isn't. There wasn't an internal mechanism. Let me tell you something. If you remember that when the whole thing started, she had to, she submitted the petition and they said no, she couldn't submit a petition on behalf of herself. Right? So she had to go back, and then one of her constituencies did it for her. That's because it had never been in that situation. Their rule book actually never accounted for a time when a sitting senator would need to actually table a motion about themselves. Are you with me? Yeah. They didn't. So there was no internal. Where is it in the rule book? Does it say if you've been sexually harassed, if your male or female senator, is sexually abusive? What? There is nothing. So what internal mechanism did they want her to use? To kneel down? Good God, no. To do what exactly?
So often in history, there are moments that can shift and change things significantly. Do you think that this Natasha case could be a pivotal moment in mobilization around reshaping the political landscape for women and the attitudes that patriarchy plays in how particularly women and leaders are treated?
Great question. So I'll tell you 2 things. One, right now, there is a debate about creating special, and that's the exact words, special seats for women in the assembly. To some people, that is great. To me, it is not. I do not want you to create special seats for me. I just want you to leave me so we can have an even playing field. So you and I can compete as equals. I don't want special treatment. But that's what's going on right now. The women, in fairness, some say, look, Ireti, that's the best we can get. It's a way forward, yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to fault those people. I'm just saying it's not something that I would subscribe to because, and at the end of the day, women are not a monolith, right? There are 300 ways to skin a cat. There's 300 ways for us to get victory as well. That's one. Number 2, though, when you talk about the future, I'll tell you what happened. And it was, for me, it was such a powerful moment. And I didn't know you were going to answer this for me, but I think that for me was what kind of defined and solidified the catalyst of this moment, this Natasha moment. So the documentary that I told you about was premiered in Abuja on Saturday, on Monday, this Monday. Natasha was part of the women. So she was there. When she was leaving, all the young women, the ushers, the this, the that, they all surrounded her. She had become their queen, their hero, if you like, their icon, whatever. And I remember standing back and thinking, oh my word, this is incredible. This is amazing. This next gen, they'd been looking for somebody and they didn't know who. And Natasha is that person for them. So I kind of got the ushers together and said, look, all of you stand behind her. And they all took a picture. Wow. And you should have seen the joy in their face.
That's wonderful to hear. Ireti, we're going to have to leave it there, unfortunately, but thank you so much indeed for joining us and telling this story. And I think we need to keep on talking and making sure that attitudes and positions change and bring a better day for women right across the continent. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. That was Ireti Bakare-Yusuf, broadcast journalist, founder of the Purple Women Foundation and co-convenor of WAAN, We Are All Natasha protest in Nigeria. It's time for your news headlines. Here's Onele Nsinsi.